Silk was often traded on the Silk Roads. It was a luxury good because of its light weight, and it was hard to create, which made it expensive. It was also warm in the winter and cool in the summer, which is why it was commonly used for clothing materials. Silk was traded along the Silk Roads throughout China. It was traded at Syria, Persia, and Byzantine, also to Japan. In each of these places, the silk was made more beautiful and were sent back to China. The emperor's wife discovered silk threads when drinking a cup of tea under a mulberry tree. The peasants harvested cocoons, then heated them up using boiling hot water. Women of all social classes in China made silk. The stories, myths, and people that traveled on the Silk Road influenced the design of the silks. Trade then expanded by the 1st century AD, Rome, Iran, and India were all involved in the silk trade. Silk is a source needed to make clothing. People would weave silk threads to make a piece of clothing. Raw silk would be brought along the Silk Road from China to the east, which was usually Persia, Byzantine, and Syria. When it got there, it was dyed and then woven into things like textiles. Textile was sold for a profit from the silk, sometimes back to China or all the way across to Japan. When it spread more widely, the designs became widely copied and imitated by Europe and other Western countries. China originally attempted to control knowledge of sericulture and imposed death penalty to anyone who gave away knowledge to foreign sources. First evidence of silk weaving was between 5,000 to 7,000 years ago. During the Han Dynasty, silk reeling and spinning was a household duty. The first evidence of silk being considered a textile goes back to at least 5,000 to 3,000 BCE. China made cultural diffusion with non-Chinese through trading for this wanted textile. The art of making silk was perfected in China during the Neolithic era. Sahil, you should listen to it with the mic. You should listen to your recording. I had to redo mine because of the mic. First silks were found in China. Chinese silk was prized in ancient Rome. Silk was mostly traded. The mulberry tree is the only tree that silkworms live on because it is the only leaf that silkworms eat. The peasants had to care for and feed the silkworms to make sure that the silkworms got to the cocoon stage. The silkworm cocoons are then put in an oven and heated to kill the worm inside the cocoon. The worm is then discarded. After that, the cocoons are put in boiling hot water to be unraveled. A single cocoon can be up to 3,600 feet of thread. Styles of the silk were often copied by different cultures as they were traded along the Silk Road. Stories, myths, and different people that traveled influenced the design of silk patterns. People made silk because it was lightweight and it was warm in the winter and cool in the summer. The light weight of the silk made it easy to carry large quantities of it. Its weight and its being relatively hard to create made it a luxury good, therefore making it expensive and an important trading item along the Silk Road.